His left hand gripped the flashlight, while his right hovered above the heavy police revolver strapped to his hip. He had handcuffs in a small case on his leather belt, and he thought he knew how to use them, but he had never managed to catch anyone yet. Being a nighttime security guard generally involved a lot of reading, mixed with a few false alarms, especially if you had a vivid imagination. And not much else. Vernon's girlfriend was a night owl, an English major and aspiring poet who spent most of the night waiting to be inspired by the muse, or else putting in a few hours at the round-the-clock coffee shop where she worked. Vernon had adjusted his own biological cycle to keep up with her, and this night shift job had seemed the perfect solution, though he had been tired and groggy for the first week or so. Now Vernon was wide awake as he entered the burned-out labyrinth. Someone was indeed in there. Old ashes crunched under his feet, splinters of broken glass and smashed concrete. Vernon remembered how this research facility had once looked, a high-tech place with unusual modern northwestern architecture, a mixture of glossy futuristic glass and steel and rich golden wood from the Oregon coastal forests. The lab had burned quite well after the violent protest, the arson, and the explosion. It wouldn't surprise him if this late-night intruder was something more than just kids, perhaps some member of the animal rights group that had claimed responsibility for the fire. Maybe it was an activist collecting souvenirs, war trophies of their bloody victory. Vernon didn't know. He just sensed he had to be careful. He stepped deeper inside, ducking his head to avoid a fallen wooden pole, black and warty with gray-white ashes where it had split in the intense heat. The floor of the main building seemed unstable, ready to tumble into the basement levels. Some of the walls had collapsed, partitions blackened, windows blasted out. He heard someone moving stealthily. Vernon tilted the flashlight around and white light stabbed into the shadows, making strange angles, black shapes that leapt at him and skittered along the walls. He had never been afraid of closed-in spaces, but now it seemed as if the whole place was ready to cave in on him. Vernon paused, shone his light around. He heard the sound again. Quiet rustling. A person intent on uncovering something in the wreckage. It came from the far corner, an enclosed office area with a partially slumped ceiling where the reinforced barricades had withstood most of the destruction. He saw a shadow move there, tossing debris away, digging. Vernon swallowed hard and stepped forward. "You there! This is private property, no trespassing!" He rested his hand on the butt of his revolver. Show no fear. He wouldn't let this intruder run from him. Vernon directed his flashlight onto the figure. A large, broad-shouldered man stood up and turned toward him slowly. The intruder didn't run, didn't panic, and that made Vernon even more nervous. Oddly dressed, the man wore mismatched clothes, covered with soot. They looked like something stolen from a lost duffel bag or torn down from a clothesline. "What are you doing here?" Vernon demanded. He flared the light into the man's face. The intruder was dirty, unkempt, and he didn't look at all well. Great, Vernon thought, a vagrant rooting around in the ruins to find something he could salvage and sell. "There's nothing for you to take in here." "Yes, there is," the man said. His voice was strangely strong and confident, and Vernon was taken aback. "You're not supposed to be here," Vernon repeated, losing his nerve now. "Yes, I am," the man answered. "I'm authorized. I worked at DyMar." Vernon moved forward. This was entirely unexpected. He continued to shine the flashlight, counting on its intimidation factor. "My name is Dorman. Jeremy Dorman." The man fumbled in his shirt pocket and Vernon grabbed for his revolver. "I'm just trying to show you my DyMar ID," Dorman said. Vernon took another step closer, and in the glare of his powerful flashlight, he could see that the intruder appeared sick, sweating. "Looks like you need to go to a doctor." "No. What I need..."